Welcome back to Making Things Simpler. Today's topic comes from one of our viewers, Dustin. Thanks for the great suggestion. You asked, what's the difference between cement and concrete? If you've ever heard someone say cement sidewalk or cement driveway and wondered whether that is actually correct, you're not alone. Most people use the words interchangeably. But here's the twist, they're not the same thing at all. In fact, one is just an ingredient inside the other. So what's really going on here? Let's break it down. Cement is essentially the glue. It's a fine gray powder that acts as a binding agent. On its own, it doesn't look impressive, but chemically, it's incredibly powerful. To make cement, manufacturers heat limestone and clay to extremely high temperatures, around 1,450 degrees Celsius. That intense heat forms small, hard lumps called clinker. The clinker is then ground into a fine powder and mixed with a few additional minerals. The result is what we commonly call Portland cement, the most widely used type in the world. Now here's the important part. If you mix cement with water, it will harden, but it won't be very strong by itself. You wouldn't build a house out of pure cement. It would crack and fail under pressure. That's where concrete comes in. Concrete is the final construction material you see in roads, bridges, buildings, sidewalks, and dams. It's made by mixing cement with water, sand, and gravel, or crushed stone. When these ingredients combine, something fascinating happens. A chemical reaction called hydration begins. The cement particles react with water and form tiny interlocking crystals. These crystals bind the sand and gravel together into a solid, rock-like mass. And here's something many people don't realize. Concrete doesn't just dry. It cures. The chemical reaction continues for days, weeks, even years. That's why concrete actually gets stronger over time. Think of it like baking a cake. Cement is the flour. You wouldn't eat flour by itself. But mix it with eggs, sugar, and butter, and you get something solid and usable. In the same way, cement alone isn't very useful, but combine it with the right ingredients and you get concrete. So why do people mix up the terms so often? Part of it is habit. Cement is such a key component of concrete that people assume they're the same thing. Even contractors sometimes casually say cement driveway when they really mean concrete. Branding also adds to the confusion. At hardware stores, you'll often see bags labeled cement mix. But many of those products already contain sand and gravel, which technically makes them concrete mix. Now let's talk history. Humans have been experimenting with cement-like materials for thousands of years. The ancient Romans were masters of early concrete technology. They mixed lime with volcanic ash to create a durable form of concrete that could even set underwater. Structures like the Pantheon and Roman aqueducts are still standing after nearly 2,000 years. Modern scientists are still studying Roman concrete to understand why it was so durable. Fast forward to today, and concrete is everywhere. Bridges, roads, skyscrapers, dams, sidewalks, foundations. The Hoover Dam alone contains over 3 million cubic meters of concrete. And interestingly, parts of it are technically still curing. Concrete also comes in many specialized forms. Some types are reinforced with steel bars, known as rebar, to handle tension forces. Others contain tiny air bubbles to improve insulation and freeze-thaw resistance. There's even self-healing concrete that contains bacteria. When cracks form and water enters, the bacteria activate and produce limestone, filling in the gaps. But making strong concrete isn't as simple as just mixing ingredients randomly. The water-to-cement ratio is critical. Too much water weakens the final structure. Too little makes the mix difficult to work with. That's why construction workers follow precise ratios. Proper curing, keeping concrete moist and at the right temperature, is just as important as mixing it correctly. Rushing the curing process can lead to cracks and long-term weakness. Cement also plays roles beyond concrete. It's used in mortar to hold bricks together, in grout between tiles, and in stucco for exterior walls. It's versatile, but again, it's rarely used alone. Now here's something surprising. Cement production has a major environmental impact. The process of heating limestone releases large amounts of carbon dioxide. In fact, cement manufacturing accounts for roughly 8% of global CO2 emissions. Because of this, researchers are developing greener alternatives. Some companies are experimenting with carbon-absorbing concrete that actually pulls CO2 from the air as it cures. Others are replacing part of the cement with industrial byproducts like fly ash or slag from steel production. Innovations like 3D printed concrete buildings and ultra-high performance concrete are also shaping the future of construction. So next time someone says cement sidewalk, you'll know the difference. And it asks another reminder that even the most ordinary materials around us have complex stories behind them. From ancient Roman engineering to modern skyscrapers, the difference between cement and concrete quite literally shapes the world we live in. And now you can confidently explain it the next time the topic comes up. Thanks for watching Making Things Simpler. If you have a topic you'd like us to explore next, leave it in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories hidden inside everyday words and objects.